Hey YouTube, I get asked a lot, do you really need a vehicle survival kit or a kit in your vehicle of any means? And the answer is yes. You got to think more of your vehicle as a potential mobile command center, a survival resource, a place that you can go to get resources when everything else is used up. Now, even when you're at home, it's nice to know that you have resources in your vehicle ready to go in case you have to egress or shelter elsewhere because the safety of being in your home is compromised. The same thing is true if you're at work. There could be a fire at work, or maybe there's, God forbid, a terrorist activity or a shooting, and you have to leave. And you can, weather the hardship maybe in your vehicle or get away from the situation. And it's good to have resources in your vehicle when this stuff happens. When you go shopping, or if you're at church or wherever you're at, typically you're not that far from your vehicle. So it's a great resource to have for personal rescue. And this is where we get to the point that we just need to have those resources. And people ask once again, so, what are those resources? So what do we really need in our vehicle? And so I try to get it down to like 10 things that you should have in your vehicle. And once again, look at this more like a mobile command resource center so that you can pull from. And so in an emergency, you're not at the mercy of the threat and of others. And so the 10 things would be water. Have some water in your vehicle. My rule of thumb is 2 to 3 gallons per person that usually travels in the vehicle, and an extra gallon of water for the vehicle. You also want to have your get home bag. If you have multiple people, you may want to have at least several get home bags, or maybe even one for every person. That's something that you guys have to discuss. But just make sure, besides all the normal stuff, and I have a video on get home bags, to have your extra spare money and to have, of course, some maps. The next thing would be food. 1 to 3 days worth of food is going to go a long way to making things more comfortable, especially if you're in a rural area and you get stranded, and especially if it's in very inclement weather and you're in the middle of a snow blizzard and there's just no way anybody could get to you for a day or two. You're going to be wishing you had some food. The next thing would be tools, shovels, hand saws, tapes for repairs, multi-tools. It's common sense. You may have to dig yourself out once again from that blizzard, or maybe you've slid down a hill and you have to actually dig out one of your tires, or maybe you have to pack some dirt underneath some tires or gravel to get traction. I don't know, but it's good to have those tools. It's good to have shelter, maybe a tarp system or a small tent, especially have some cording to rig that all up. That would be very smart. A heat source, it could be some blankets or extra clothing, but it's also good to actually have maybe something else that could start fires, maybe a small campfire, or maybe some hand warmers at the very minimum. Signaling and safety equipment, especially like first aid and, of course, headlamps or some kind of aerial lamp. It's going to be very helpful for making repairs and or to do various survival tasks, especially at night. The next thing would be some type of backup phone charger, a crank, or maybe an extra battery. Just having an extra source of energy for your phone is going to go a long way, because if your battery goes out and the car battery's dead, you're going to be wishing you had another means to get your communications out for help. The next thing would be emergency radios. It could be a two-way radio, especially if you know other people monitoring a certain channel or frequency, but in most cases, an AM, FM, and weather band radio that's a hand crank could come in very big ways, especially if there's a major storm system coming in. You need to be aware of that when you're stranded. And the last thing would be extra fluids for your car, such as oil, antifreeze, and brake fluids. Hopefully that would help you. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon.